up, guys? Welcome back to episode 3 of the It's for Laughs podcast. It's your boy, Eli Stone, a.k.a. Victor. I got my boy, Benji, a.k.a. Benji 2 times. My other boy, Eric, a.k.a. It's That Easy Life. And, of course, David, a.k.a. It's not in my job description. Alright, so this week, we're going to be giving you guys another weekly update. And talking about some fitness and diet stuff. Alright, so first, who would like to go?
First.
Benji?
Am I going first?
Benji,
I'll go first.
Go for it.
So this week was very thrilling. I was just training more people. Yeah, this girl was a lot more. I don't want to say. Yeah, she stayed. Dang.
Nice, congrats.
She didn't want to leave. It's so annoying.
She wanted your number?
Nah, it's not that. Not quite, Victor. But yeah, she was pretty good. She learned pretty quick compared to the previous person. I don't know if she was smarter or just, able to keep up. But it ended up being a good week overall. Kind of exhausting, but, it's work. What more can you do? What about you, Victor?
Me, I actually have been working on some new music.
Oh snap!
Is it just one song or is it an album?
So it's one song because I've been working on realistically a lot of songs, but this one in particular is one that I want to drop pretty soon.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been working on this new song. Hopefully I get it out by the end of either this month or beginning of the next month. But we'll see.
Nice.
And
are you producing it, or was it just you rapping over a beat?
I found a producer.
Okay, cool.
On YouTube.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Saves you a lot of
I'm
time.
excited.
Are you able to say what kind of style this one is? Because you are very
this
broad
one,
in your style range.
So this one is this one's definitely more chill. It's kind of has a lo-fi vibe to it.
So it's
Nice.
it's like you're driving, it's 8 p.m. You're driving home, that kind of vibe. It's fall.
Maybe it's even raining.
It's
Could
raining.
be raining. Could be
dang.
raining.
I'm digging
Yeah.
Are you in your feels, Victor? Hold up.
I'm not gonna say much after that. But yeah.
We're here for you.
Anyway, yeah. So I've been working on that and an intro for this podcast.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Let's do it.
Coming soon.
that'll be exciting. Hopefully it's better than what we were doing earlier.
Oh
no,
earlier.
Oh, no, that's at the end. No, we're doing that.
We're definitely doing that. Should be the
That's the filler right there.
Yeah.
True.
What about you, Eric?
I got some pretty exciting news earlier this week. I am actually starting not new job, but a new position. Still with Apple, which is amazing. So I will be starting that in September, with training and stuff like that. So, pretty excited about that. I also started getting parts for my PC build that I'm making now. So,
What are the parts that you have?
It's
I got a Samsung. I don't remember. I think it's 850 SATA 1TB drive. I got a keyboard. I got a new headset. Not a keyboard. A mouse, I should say. I got my graphics card. And I got my processor as well. So I got kind of the expensive things.
Yeah.
Out the way.
One part at a time.
What else do you have to get now?
So I have to still get my motherboard, my RAM, my
case.
Yeah, my case and my power supply.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then
Do you already have a monitor?
I'm trying to get a monitor. I'm trying to see if it's worth getting a monitor. And if I get a monitor, is it worth getting two? Things like that. Because I do have a TV right now.
You could get one of those really ultra wide ones. Have you seen those?
True.
I don't want one big one though, because they're
okay.
Like I kind of want to be able to kind of have one thing for one thing, because I want to be able to stream at some point, maybe.
Would that make
So-
it easier?
Oh.
Having two monitors?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
heck
makes
yeah.
it easier.
You can divvy up the work a lot more. So you can have one thing dedicated to one thing. So,
That
like,
makes
for
sense.
example, like, if we ever take this podcast where, like, for some reason we can't meet, right? It allows us to, one, see myself recording, and the other maybe might be our chat, right? So if they're saying something that they want to communicate to us, things like that.
Yeah.
That's something that I think is going to be kind of cool to do. And I'm actually thinking that would be kind of cool once I go back and finish school.
You planning to go back to school?
I am.
What degree are you gonna look for?
I am. So with my position that I can't give it away because it is confidential.
It requires education.
All I really need is just one certification to really bump me up to kind of where I want to be within Apple. So
CEO.
but-
No.
CEO, who no, I don't want that kind of responsibility.
That'd be crazy.
You can't say which cert it is, though. Is it like specific to Apple? Is that
It's
why?
It's not specific, essentially, to Apple. It's generic. It's a security certification.
Since it's just a cert, would it still? How much is the time frame to complete it?
So I'm not rushed to. It's not like to do it. I do want to just have it in my back pocket for, because the thing is that what I've learned is, and then I'm pretty sure you could probably fill this up too, as you get higher and higher within whatever company you get, you start to realize that job openings aren't there as you think for like lower like entry level. So you kind of have to like wait for someone to get another better opportunity or to leave the company. So
For sure.
you're kind of stuck in one position for a good bit, but you gotta like master that position, right? So that way there's not even a shot of a doubt that you're ready for the next step. So that's mainly what I want to do. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I don't want to like set the goal so high. I do believe in like we talked last week. I just want to have those small victories and just be ready for the big victory at the end. So that's essentially that's where my weekly update kind of went, because I kind of had to process all that with my managers and things like that.
It's really good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm excited.
All right,
And the last
David?
one, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
What you
right.
got?
I mean,
Best for last.
same old for me. Work and soccer when we play together and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I did get. I mean, you might say I'm a partner because I got the FIFA 21 beta code.
This
They
guy.
hooked me up. I'm playing the early release of FIFA, and pretty exciting. I'm a FIFA
They saw
addict.
that you have no life, and all you do is play FIFA.
That's possible because I am a FIFA addict. I need to go to maybe a meeting soon. It's before FIFA 21, so I'm ready for the next. But it's good. It's fun. And then me and Ben both are starting our journey into the bass world, thanks to Uncle Joe, the homie who hooked us up with the bass to start learning. I did get a new amp though, just to have a small one in my room. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I was
Nice.
like messing around already,
Oh, snap.
because bass tabs are pretty like. It's easy to see
Yeah.
because it just gives you a number and what string, so you kind of learn. You can learn like that. But now I just have to practice more, like moving.
Just memorizing.
Yeah.
what
So
everything is.
it's not like you don't necessarily need to know notes kind of thing. It's just
You
like,
can do both ways because you can do bass tabs from what I've seen so far. Obviously, I'm just a novice, so Joe, don't chew me out. Right? But you can. They have
He's
those
gonna be in
tabs.
the comments.
Yeah, they have the tabs where they can. They'll show you like what string you're on and then what number fret you have to go down, and then you can just go like that.
That's pretty sick.
But our Uncle Joe is teaching us what note is what string, and then also like little by little you kind of learn. But right now it's just week 1, so
Yeah.
we'll little by little we'll
Yeah.
get better.
Physically, I
That's
feel like it is a lot harder than guitar. But the upside to playing bass is that typically it's just like one note at a time, as opposed to guitar, you're like doing weird chords the entire time, or just like basing it off of chords. But yeah, bass guitar strings are a lot thicker, the spacing is a lot further, and it's just, still a learning process, but,
Oh, do you use like a pick or no?
I've been just using fingers drumming, yeah.
I think it's more common for bass guitarists to use just their fingers too.
Yeah. When I was watching videos on like tutorials, it was I think I saw one or two use a pick, but it was weird. Like, it doesn't seem natural.
Mhm.
But to each their own, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people wear gloves. So.
Yeah, there's a
There's a guy on YouTube who wears gloves while he plays bass.
Oh, probably to like
He has-
not for the chafing and stuff.
I think so. He has a video about it, but I haven't watched it. So
Interesting.
I think guitar too, it's like the pick thing, it's either or. You do get different sounds though. Like say you're like strumming, typically you're gonna see it with a pick just because it releases a louder sound. But say you're just, jamming like one note at a time, it's either or. Some dudes use the pick, some people just finger style it.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Interesting.
Mostly like preference.
Yeah. Interesting.
one more thing though, something we've all done together this week, except for Victor, because he didn't get on. But there's a new game also, which is Fall Guys, which has been pretty cool. There's a lot of rage sometimes, specifically with some friends in general. But anyways,
No names.
no names needed. But it's fun. It's a fun game, and it's been fun to play that as like a group.
Check it out on PlayStation Store, Xbox Store.
Use code It's for Laughs. No, I'm just kidding. No sponsors.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So-
Fall Guys.
In case you're watching. But yeah, no, that game has been really fun. So it's interesting to play that with all of us because we kind of have to pick certain games. Either FIFA or Call of Duty or Fortnite, whatever it is. And this is a different type of pace because it's not a shooter. It's not a sport game. It's literally just a game that
I think
you just
a bunch
have to
of like
make
mini games.
I think
Yeah.
I like that more, honestly.
I think you will.
Yeah.
Because it's more just chill and just have fun.
Yeah.
Rather than
It's not so
'cause-
much skill based, essentially.
Because Victor lacks on the shooting skills.
Look,
My
bro.
boy has no aim.
Look. Whoa, hold on.
No aim, no reactions.
Yo,
But he
okay.
knows where to drop, which is the most important thing.
He gives us
There
the
you
big
go, yeah.
high key notes on where to drop. All the
Exactly.
biggest loot.
You're welcome. Alright, so I think we're going to talk about the main topic for today, which is health and fitness. Most specifically, right now we're going to just start with our personal fitness journey, and I'll go ahead and go first. So, my personal fitness journey started. Let's take you back to imagine a kid, 10 years old. He's at the beach, and all these other kids around him are in shape. They have like abs already, basically. And then there's this one kid named Victor, wee little Victor, and
wee little bit.
well, he wasn't so little, alright? He had a belly. He had a nice little round belly coming out. He was like skinny still, but like he was definitely like on that chubby side, alright? Basically, this little kid wanted to change his life, his physical aspect of life. So, in middle school is when I really started to like pay attention to like what I was eating, because I used to just eat like anything junk food, like Doritos. I used to have
Wasn't
this
he just
thing that I
munching
used
on
to do.
Doritos? Wasn't he just munching on Doritos? No, I'm just kidding.
no, anyway.
He was eating that Doritos Locos Tacos, huh? With the
Man,
Baja
why'd
Blast.
you have to
The
put me
Baja
on
Blast.
blast?
He is an expert in tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Victor.
It's only 3 tacos.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so I used to actually like scoop out frosting from like the frosting you put on cake. I would
Yeah.
actually like scoop it with my finger, and I would just eat it like that.
You're a
I was
bad man.
bad, bro. Alright, yeah.
Wow.
You're not human.
This man's a little lunatic.
I used to do like soda, everything, right? Everything possibly bad you can think of. But basically in middle school, I started eating. What I started to do is like I started eating less because I thought maybe like that would help. And honestly, it kind of did help, you know, for in the beginning. I did get like slimmer and everything, but I think the other thing too was that I was more active too. I think that's another big part of it. Like you can't just, I mean, diet is like really important, but I feel like having the physical fitness part is also an important thing. So I feel like I was a lot more active in middle school. I was playing football, basketball, like any sport pretty much, like during lunchtime and all that, right? But for sure, I started getting more into it in high school, and I started going to the gym, to the workouts in class. You know, you have like the gym period. And I remember thinking like I wanted to get like really jacked, but that didn't really happen. But I mean, I definitely did get like more fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but
It could happen.
But I remember thinking like, why is everyone else like getting so much muscle, and I'm over here like still like really skinny, you know? And it wasn't until I feel like actually like recently, like 5 years ago, like when I first moved here and I really started like getting into like fitness type of thing and looking it up, researching, I realized that diet is like 80% of how you actually achieve like your goal or what you want to do. So I feel like after like throughout those 5 years, my physical, like the way I feel about the way my body looks and like my like whole like diet and everything has definitely changed from when I was like that little 10-year-old boy eating like Doritos, ice cream, like everything. I still have like dessert, you know, every now and then. But I'm definitely eating a lot more. I'm more health conscious now, so yeah. So pretty much I went from little chubby Victor to
Six-pack Victor.
Six.
That's for the OnlyFans.
For the OnlyFans.
Patreon.
But
That's really good.
Add into this, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was maybe around 4th grade. So maybe when I was like 9, 10, I realized that, you know, I was on the bigger side. Because I grew up, like, when I was young, I was very skinny, you know, because I was an active kid, always running around. That's how my childhood was. And then up until middle school was rough too. I was still, you know, on the chubbier side. And it wasn't until like, I think 8th, 9th grade when we started playing soccer a lot more. Me, David, I think that's when I met Victor too, Eric too. We started playing soccer a lot more. I think, yeah, you
met me at 8 and what?
Yeah.
But when we were playing soccer,
Oh,
I mean, I met you when I was like born, I think. Probably. I don't know. But
You held Ben when he was a baby.
yeah. So it was probably around that time where I started taking it more seriously. And then throughout my high school career, I played soccer. And through 9th and 11th grade, I got probably too skinny. Or not too skinny. I was skinny.
No, you didn't get too. You just got skinny.
I got skinny.
Yeah,
I got fit.
yeah.
But, you know, I didn't have any muscle mass, really. And I still had that, you know, a little bit of chubby on my tummy, I think. And yeah, up until like maybe the past 3 years, maybe, I got more into fitness and lifting weights. And through that process, I learned that, you know, the more you lift weights, the more easier it is to control the diet simply because you're allowed to eat more in a day. So that was my issue. I would eat not as much as I would eat a lot less than I should have eaten during my high school years, which caused the rapid weight loss, but lots of muscle mass was lost as well. So since, you know, the past 3 years, focused a little bit more on the muscle mass aspect, and
The biceps and
Yeah,
biceps mainly.
Bicep, yeah.
Yeah, what you
arms.
mean?
That's his prime like goal is just have bigger arms than all of us.
That's not
basically.
true. They make
This man
fun of me.
he always works out
Wait.
arms. Every time I ask him, yo, would you work out today? 80% of the time he's like,
Which
arms.
No, I do my push-ups too every now and then. Yeah, but it's just it's been an interesting journey, and I'm still only like 19, so we'll see where physically I'll be 3 years from now, maybe even next year. Because I think I noticed too, me and David, from last year to this year during the summertime, we look, I would say, very different.
for sure.
We've made a lot of progress.
A tad, you know.
Positive,
We did
yeah.
progress.
We made
Yeah.
progress, you
There
know.
you go.
And
I feel like this last year, like you two have definitely gotten a lot more like serious. I feel like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, part of that is because I think this whole year was when we first finally joined the gym
Mhm.
fitness equation.
Was it this year? This
Like,
past,
well, this past
2019?
Yeah, I think so. So
That's true.
that kind of
Yeah.
allowed us to go more into the gym and do more like weights
Yeah.
versus before. I mean, well, actually, no. It may have we had it for like a year and a half maybe,
Yeah.
but still, it's that area.
And I feel like during, at least for me personally, throughout the fall and winter this past 2019 year, we were going consistently,
Well, it
like
was-
3-4 times a week, on top of playing soccer Thursday, Saturday nights.
Yeah.
Sundays, that would be our only day of rest. And sometimes we'd go on runs too. I'd
like-
force you to run.
Yeah, and like Victor said though, the what you eat part as
Yeah.
well. We also
Oh,
like
yeah.
completely. I think we finally found like diets that worked for us. Is the
Yeah,
thing.
because I remember in the very beginning, for sure. Well, like I remember you telling me like when you first started with, you were just basically doing like very little, like just fats, right? Just fats and
Using
like,
keto.
yeah, the keto diet basically. right?
Basically, like yeah, I was
Yeah.
trying it,
Yeah.
but then I got into like so basically the keto diet is you eat a lot of fats and a lot of
Protein.
though it's like mainly the fats is where you're getting your energy from and you're cutting out carbs, and then you're also lowering the amount of sugar, which is also crucial because the goal is to get into like ketosis, which is basically what I never did like the full like process because there's a way you can check if you're in ketosis, but I never did that. But I probably did get into ketosis because
Probably.
I was losing weight. And then, but I also got the keto flu, which is
Yeah.
basically when it happens to anybody who does the keto diet, where you have like flu-like symptoms, and it's just because of your diet where you don't have carbs or anything.
Yeah.
So your body is basically just like trying to adapt, but it takes its own time to adapt. But yeah.
I mean, the keto diet definitely works, but the issue is, my issue with it is that it's so rapid, you lose the weight rapidly, but right after you lose all that weight, you're like, okay, I hit my goal, now what am I going to do? Just go back to how I was.
It's not like sustainable.
Yeah,
Well-
it's like mentally, I feel like because you took that shorter route, it didn't become a habit enough.
Well, the keto is almost like a life. Like supposedly, it's like you eat that way. It's like a lifestyle, but it's not. That's the problem where it lies. It works and it doesn't. It's not like you lose the weight and gain it back. It's about like long-term health issues
Yeah.
for me at least. Like this is all my opinion because you're eating such like high like fats and stuff, but how is it going to be in the long run? And there's still not enough studies on it exactly, so we don't know the long-term effects really. But I mean, we'll find out in the future. But I wouldn't recommend it like long-term. But you could definitely try it like short-term, I would think. And then you also have to see like for me and my personal like before I go into like my personal journey is the diets. Like there's so many diets out there because there's so many people out there.
Mhm.
Every person really has their own diet, really.
Yeah.
Because you can't. There's no just like one diet that's gonna make you like this is guaranteed to
Right.
work.
Yeah.
And then that's my opinion as well. So the best thing you can do is try out like a bunch of diets, and it doesn't hurt. Like so, I recently started trying what is it? The fasting.
Oh, intermittent
fasting. And it's not for me, and it didn't give me any progress either. But it does give a lot of progress to a lot of other people. But it's just not for me.
Not your cup of tea.
No, but I mean, I think we were going to talk about it later. But I guess since I'm on the topic, for me, I think what I found for myself is like going in a low carb diet, where basically it's just cutting your carbs not to nothing and not like adding a bunch of fats like the keto. But it's almost just cutting to like a lower part where you're eating more, maybe proteins and a little bit more fats, but not excessively like the keto. But that's what's worked best for me, and it's also like attainable because it's not like you're starving. For me, I'm not starving. I'm not like not having with the intermittent fasting. I basically had to like force myself to eat at certain times, which is what didn't work for me.
Yeah, because the time is like what, 12 to 8?
Yeah, you eat from 12 to 8, and then like so you basically don't have breakfast, and you eat till lunch, and it was terrible. But for some people it works. Like for me, I love breakfast, so I can't. For me, it was hard to skip breakfast and basically eat breakfast for lunch, and it was just weird.
You gotta have your eggs with ketchup all over, for breakfast early in the morning.
But my journey has started really until probably when I was like after high school, so around college is when I first started kind of getting interested in anything fitness related. And because we grew up in like a Spanish household, so like Spanish food is great and amazing, but it's not the best for like health wise. A lot of rice, the tortillas, anything, a lot of heavy carbs, bread
and fats.
And it just got really bad. A lot of fried food. So all of that really just led me into like, even if I tried to like work out, play soccer like we did, it wasn't really doing me anything because I was eating unhealthy.
Right.
And that's when I started to just basically, I don't know, I just never really got into it until then. And then I started, working more. I started gaining weight while I worked as well because, you take lunch, and obviously it's your like first time job. So you're not like rich or anything where you can eat or make food and everything, especially because you're so young. And then, so you're just eating like, I was eating like a lot of McDonald's. There was like a sandwich bistro there, but it was like heavy, like butter and bread and a bunch of stuff. Like everything was just like not good for you.
You still do like kebabs though, right?
I do that now because that started when I was in my current job.
Oh, sure.
So, but back in actually I did. There was
butter chicken.
But it became butter chicken. But that's even worse for you too. So it was a lot of things like that where like I said earlier before we cut, it was for me, my diet that I found personally has been a low carb diet. So going through my whole life eating high carbs it was always terrible for me. And that's how I gained a lot of weight. But then while I was in college, like early on or mid, I started playing more soccer, more leagues. And that's when I was like, I need to step it up. Because if I want to play soccer, which for me has been like my motivation to get fit and be healthy. So I had to do something. So for me, I just started watching a lot of YouTube videos on like channels. Like, I used to watch the Lean Machine, Athlean X, Chris Herrera, something like that, which is, he has his own like, Thenix, something like that is the channel, but they do a lot more like calisthenics.
Oh yeah.
But basically from all those channels was when I started learning more about because they always teach you like, okay, here's the fitness side of it where you do like workouts and stuff, but don't forget, you have to eat healthy.
Yeah.
So that's when I started learning more about like, oh, okay, so I gotta eat healthier. I gotta try different diets because they would also advertise different ones.
Yeah.
Like one of them will advertise the keto. One of them advertises more of a balanced diet. And then some other ones will do like low carb. So that's where I kind of learned from there. And I would try certain ones. But so that's where I kind of just learned more of that. And then it's been just a long time journey to like little by little just lose weight, get healthier. And I think that's the biggest thing for me has been you can't just like, okay, I'm going to be on a diet for like, 3 months or whatever. you got to change your lifestyle for you to lose weight, gain muscle, like little by little. So that way you're not just like losing and then you're going to gain it back. So
that's why I feel like, from that Athlete X channel,
yeah,
I know he said a lot, like, it's better to not even call it a diet, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it more of like your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be for the rest of your life. So you don't want it to be something that's so short term. That's why you got to like slowly, I feel like personally that's like how I have managed, because I've just gone into it more slowly. And then, like, if I look back, I can see how much progress I've made.
Right.
Whereas if I just like go straight to like trying to do something like a certain like fad diet or whatever, and I just straight go into it like all in, I'm less likely gonna like actually stick with that.
Makes sense.
But yeah, that's been my journey kind of so far. But specifically these last 2 years, I would say I've done like the most significant like work, because I've been going to the gym more, and then been eating a lot healthier, learning how to cook basically. Because before I didn't really learn how to cook, so I was still just okay. I'm buying these healthy foods, but they're already like pre-made, and sometimes the pre-made stuff is also just not the best.
Yeah.
So just learning how to cook has been like super like.
I think
that levels you up like
Yeah.
into like that next level like crazy.
Yeah.
Because you can know like exactly how you're making your food and what's going into it. But yeah, that's what it's been for me. And then obviously I think this like health and fitness is a long topic. Like it's very broad. Like in the future we might do another podcast where we talk more in depth of certain things. And if you have anything as a viewer, anything you want to like comment or like message us about to talk specifically in some episodes, we can. Or even if it's like just short videos where maybe, you know, we do like cook us something that we like to eat as like for us in our diets, or even talk about some of the supplements we take. So there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about, but we'll keep it simple today. But yeah, that's it for me. Next, I guess, is Eric. You know, I know you're not the most like knowledgeable, I guess I would say, in this stuff. Not as a roast or anything, but you're burnt. Nah,
You're burnt.
But I know it's something that you kind of know a little bit about, but you know, you always have had us to reach out, and you've also, you know.
So I guess my fitness journey is I was very chubby at a young age. Started getting into middle school. Miraculously got skinny. I don't know if it was just me growing up or whatever it was. Was skinny up throughout high school because of playing soccer, kind of like 6 times a week, nonstop, and not eating.
Relatable.
Yeah.
You played on the high school team?
I played high school and I played a little bit of travel as well.
Oh, nice.
So, I did that, and then even then I also I had friends that were on the house league that would train. Like, so basically my week would go Monday. I would have travel practice, or if I guess high school too. So I would go back to back training sessions, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm sorry, no, not Fridays. But I would have then go train with my house league friends on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Morning session on Saturday, and then a game on Saturday. On Sunday, sorry. So basically Friday was, and then Friday sometimes would just be pickups. So Saturday technically night was, or even Saturday sometimes I would go. So like technically some days, some weeks I would have week soccer would be my whole week. So then, you know, similar to with David, I started making a little bit of money. I was like, yo, I don't gotta eat freaking like
tortilla con sal.
Or like, you know, like microwavable stuff. Like I could kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
treat yourself.
Exactly.
Treat yourself, yeah.
So with David when we worked together,
Yeah.
dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Bunch on a whole week.
Jeez.
McDonald's,
Bulking season. That's what happened,
the
basically.
the Indian
real.
place right next door. Sandwich shops. Whatever it was. So like,
The bulking years.
You guys need
yeah,
all the
I use that Pokemon move all the time.
Bulking. Super effective.
Yeah, heck yeah. So, and then I kind of ate more than I exercised, which kind of like got me a little chubbier. But then, even when I played, like I wouldn't play as hard. I wouldn't go as hard. I wouldn't run. So because of I had extra weight. So obviously, you would get I would get tired faster. So, then while Janelle was pregnant, like when we would go out, like she would have cravings. So like if she had cravings for junk food, she'd take like one bite and be like, "Okay, I'm full," and I'm just like,
man.
what do you mean? We just paid like $10 for your plate. Like, I'm not gonna like waste food. Like, that's the big thing for me is like
Back
I never,
to the bulking
I
season.
never like to waste food. So then
Same,
I
bro.
realized like I'm overweight, and I'm not saying I'm happy to be overweight, but my motivations has always been like with you guys, like you're like, you guys run the gym, so I'm like, you know what, let me go try it out. So I've gone to the gym with you guys for a couple times.
How'd you like
with
those
soccer.
sessions?
Oh yeah.
Um,
CrossFit days.
Yeah,
You always
yeah.
have on those days.
yeah, I mean, because I'm not, so the thing with the gym is, that I've always had the issue with, is I don't like just being, like, like I'm saying, like, it's so, like, it just doesn't make sense
Yeah.
to do sets like that. Like, for me, it just doesn't work out for me that way. Like, I'd rather be, if it's a sport, I'm down. Like, that's why I tried jiu-jitsu for a while, because, one, I was a new sport that I was getting into UFC at the time, and I just thought, it's a way to burn calories, and you can learn how to defend yourself and stuff like that, which was pretty cool. But those CrossFit days, it wasn't just picking up weights. It was stations of things, which made it more appealing for me because I get bored like super quickly. So then the biggest thing now is I've kind of put the health part on the back end, because I've kind of fell in love with the idea of just having a dad bod right now.
Dad bod.
But I do want to get healthier. I do want to be, not have as many health risks later in life.
Want to have a
I've
healthy
told-
dad bod?
I wanna, yeah, exactly. I've told these guys that I kind of want to be, if I get to old age, I want to be like that buff, like old man.
But then you're gonna have to do these things.
Yeah,
so
bro.
It's all good because I'm only gonna be able to do like 5 sets or 5 reps, and that's it because
Sure.
of my age. But that's right now. Like I'm thinking about starting keto. I'm trying to see what works for me. Can't go to the gyms now because obviously because of COVID. You want to I don't really believe that right now with you can exercise outside because you have the room, but I don't feel comfortable being in like a building where people are sweating, people are even with them having masks on.
Oh,
It
yeah.
just
Yeah,
doesn't
for sure.
make me feel comfortable.
Because you're touching stuff too.
Right, even like I get
mean-
like people will sanitize, but not everyone's gonna sanitize
Yeah.
every single time.
I mean, that's why right now, me and Ben and Victor, too, but I know me and Ben specifically have been running more like outside. So that's one thing, because cardio is like a big way to lose weight, because you're burning a lot of calories there. And then it's also good to do like some muscle training. So like one thing you could do is just get like dumbbells basically.
or just do push-ups. Honestly,
I mean, like
Okay.
that channel I said earlier, they do calisthenics, which
Yeah.
is basically
Oh, yeah.
just using your body weight, and that's a type of exercise. So they don't use weights like he does on some videos, but the main goal is to just use your body weight. So you're doing a lot of push-ups, burpees, a lot of high intensity like stuff, which is very
Yeah.
like
In my
one of
opinion-
the way I was losing weight was also
Mhm,
doing those
yeah.
kind of workouts.
Yeah, I feel like the more high intensity stuff is actually more beneficial in helping you lose that weight quickly, like help you burn that stuff
I'm
off.
gonna start watching those.
But-
What was those videos that our parents used to have when they used to do their diets?
Zumba?
So, no, it wasn't
there's
Zumba.
Insanity.
Insanity,
Insanity.
or something like that. Yeah.
I used to have Insanity actually.
Dude, that was hilarious. The worst thing is that they used to trick me into thinking, no, this is how they play. And I'm like, what the heck? This is so dumb. And but yeah, no, you know, I've always been that person that growing up, I hated my body how it was because you would always get bullied for being the fat kid. But at the same time, kind of after getting skinny and then going back to being somewhat chubby and things like that, I figured the main part is just making sure you're healthy. I think body shape isn't the big deal. I think people focus a lot on when you see on social media, you see a big buff dude and all the girls going to him, or a skinny girl and all the guys basically catcalling them and things like that. I think that's the problem with it, is that you see all these people that sometimes they're just genetically superior, right? And some people aren't like that, and people fall into this false kind of oh, I have to have that body, and I'll do anything and they'll go on something that it affects them negatively, physically and health wise too. So I've always fallen if I don't end up being the most ripped or sharp or shredded guy, I will love my body for what it is. So that, I'm not saying that I'm okay with being obese or anything, but at the same time, you do have to take care of yourself, because I do want to live a long life and a long, healthy life, which I think is important for all of us. Which is essentially why this podcast is, because we want to bring awareness to all of us being healthy, especially now that you can't just go anywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. With this podcast, one of the things we can do is basically set goals for ourselves. So I guess just to end today's health fitness, which has basically been just basically our journeys, which maybe in the future, like I said, we can do more videos. But what is going to be your goal you guys want to set here, for us in maybe 6 months or maybe a year?
I think for me, it's what Eric was saying, because I remember especially when I first started out, the appearance was I think it got to a point where it was so important for me. But now recently I've been more it's it doesn't matter how ripped you are or whatever. If you're you can be the most ripped guy in the world, or girl, whatever, but if you don't have friends, or you're whatever, it's what's the point,
Yeah.
So I think it's more important just being healthy and being happy with how you look, and not having to be not going out. So I think for me, my goal would be to just be able to either maintain and just get to the point where my whole body is healthy and my mentality is healthy, and I'm able to be able to play sports still and still feel good about my body when I take my shirt off, not having to be super ripped or anything, but just being happy with how I look and how I feel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I would agree. The whole mental health really ties into a lot of your physical health. At least for me personally, I would say fitness for me isn't an obsession per se, but I enjoy it. I enjoy working out, because while I'm working out, when you're pushing 200 pounds of weights under a barbell, you're that's all you're thinking about. Any other worry in the world, with whether it be financial, relationship, anything like that, that's the last thing on your mind. The first thing on your mind is, I need to survive, so let me push this.
Well, and even after you're done with the workout, it's you feel better the rest of the day.
Yeah,
you just conquered that obstacle.
It's definitely a mood booster. So that's why I don't see myself ever not doing something fitness within like a week per se. Whether it is soccer too, it's not quite strength training, but it's still something that I think we all love, because your one goal, the one thing in your mind is let's score goals. So it's just that whole mental aspect to it that's really important in health and physical health. And I guess my goal would be just, as long as I'm still happy going, I'll go, which will always be true.
And as long as you're working out those arms.
Yeah, the arms.
So you're going for bigger arms?
I mean, if it happens, it happens, And I'm definitely not going smaller, so.
All right, respect.
Fair enough.
All right, for me, it's I'm gonna actually set myself a goal for, I think so, around basically these last 2 years, I've lost around like 25 pounds. So for me, it's been almost like around 12 pounds a year. So I think for me, another 10 pounds is reasonable for sure. But I think in the year, so I think for me in a year would be lose maybe 10 to 15 pounds, depending on how hard I can work.
Good.
So I'll definitely gonna like work like hard to achieve it.
Yeah.
And then also just I'd like to be able to run more, like because of soccer mainly. So for me, it's not. I think right now I'm less focused on the muscle aspect of it and more focused on like the cardio.
Just losing.
And then probably cutting a bit more, which is why I'm doing my low carb, which I'm gonna start again because forget the intermittent fasting. Whatever works there. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, that would be my goal. So just continuing in the same like progression. And then trying to achieve that same goal, which I've done. So
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
What
What
about
about
you?
you, Eric?
I want to get slimmer and
Bet.
boost up my stamina.
Let's go.
And then, once I'm in my older years, I'm going to start bulking up.
Let's
In
go.
the older
I
years.
know.
I'm going to be like an old man all oiled up at those muscles.
Yeah.
At those
Are you gonna compete?
At those,
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called.
The strong man.
They're
Body-
bodybuilding.
Bodybuilder pageants.
I don't think it's
Just
I rate
telling
it. I
you,
rate
dog,
it.
with like all my veins and everything. Yes.
And your wrinkly skin.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
come on now.
And
Come
so
on.
you're gonna have that gray hair, the silver hair.
The
They're
salt
gonna
and
call
pepper.
me
Salt and
Eric
pepper.
Silver Fox.
Mm.
Damn.
Big Daddy.
That's my UFC name.
But yeah.
I have a
yes.
question for you guys. It's something I was curious. Have you guys used any sort of caloric tracking
Oh,
apps?
I did. I for sure definitely I started to use them a lot.
I'm pretty sure we all use the same one, right? MyFitnessPal.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Yeah. No,
How do you guys feel using that?
Alright, so just to go into that as well, like I guess this is part of our diets as well. So for me, I'm not the type to go into like calorie counting. I'm more just trying to estimate like what you're eating, because it's pretty obvious sometimes. Like obviously, like if you're eating like a bunch, like you can tell by the portions that you make on a plate, like how much you're actually eating. And so for me, it's more about eyeballing it. So that way I'm not stressing, because what happens to a lot of people is they end up counting these calories and then they get demotivated to do it. So for me, it's more just eyeballing and estimating what you're eating. And then also, the apps are great though for you to have an idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
because
for
sometimes
sure.
like if once you get an idea of what kind of foods and how much calories it is, then you can kind of guess. That's where that guessing comes from, because you can't guess like without anything. So
Right.
using those
You need a
apps was a good way to
baseline.
guess. And then also for me, just on the app, just to touch, for me, my favorite part about it is actually just putting your weight in there, because
Yeah.
it keeps track of it. So like that, like I had it for a long time ago, and I had my old weight, and then I downloaded it again, and then I still had my old weight because it's the same account. So it's pretty cool how you can see the progression. So that's a great way to see your progress, like literally in a graph. So that's my opinion, at least.
I'd say like the same thing, honestly. Especially, I feel like it should just be used for just so you have the idea of how much food you're actually eating. Depending on like whether you want to be skinny or you want to like gain muscle, it's just a really good idea to use it just so you have like that baseline, like Ben said.
Mhm.
But yeah, and I feel like I have the same opinion as David. It's if you're gonna use it like consistently, just use it for like tracking your weight. But I think also like even taking pictures in the mirror every night, like at least like every month or whatever kind of thing, that you can do that too. You don't necessarily have to like. To me, I feel like with the weight thing, it's good to do it, but then I feel like you don't want to be so focused on how much weight you're losing, because you could also be potentially gaining muscle and then think you're starting to gain weight when you want to lose it, but in reality you actually look better than you.
Yeah, one part about that too is for me as well. I wouldn't say you weigh yourself every day as well, because a lot of people will do that.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, unless like you want to see how like, oh, I ate this kind of food, I definitely want to see how that affected me. But for me, I do weekly weighs, because that's kind of like you're what you eat during the week can like change, and then also the way you progress, especially because if you do sports or you got to drink a lot of water as well. So that water weight is a factor as well. So if you weigh yourself like a weekly basis, is a little more accurate, and then you're also not stressing like every morning like, oh, I'm weighing myself. Okay, obviously like one day you're not going to lose like 5 pounds, you're going to lose nothing maybe.
Exactly.
But it demotivates you that way. So for me, like weekly, you can make a weekly progress for sure. So that's why for me that's been my like quick tip from me at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with all you guys. I personally used it last year 2019 for like a month or two, so like around September.
It's definitely worked, didn't it?
Yeah, so it worked a lot, I would say. I feel like I lost a lot of like the stubborn weight a little bit very rapidly, and because I was tracking my caloric intake. But after I got to like a certain point, it became very mundane and kind of like annoying to do. When I was like, I'm someone who eats a lot of the same things every single day. And so putting that same like, oh, I put the banana, I put the yogurt, all that, I knew I was going to end up losing weight. So after doing that for about 2 months, like you guys said, it became sort of like, oh, I shouldn't eat this because, I've eaten maybe around like 1,000 calories today already. So let's just skip on that. So it's all just a baseline to that progression of, your health journey.
And just real quick too, I feel like sleep is
Oh,
such
yeah.
an important factor, because I feel like you can have like your diet in set, and you can have your workouts in set, and they're like top notch and everything. But if you're only getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep, it's gonna be really hard.
2 hours of sleep.
You're dreaming.
It's gonna be really hard to like do.
Well, the
to
recommended
change.
is like 7 to 9 hours, right?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, 6
it's
to 8.
Yeah.
It varies from person to person.
Right, that too. Yeah, I think 6 hours is probably like
Bare minimum.
Bare
I think
minimum,
that's
but-
too minimum. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because for me at least, like, that's my body, right? For me, if I sleep 6 hours or like even 6 to 6.5, I definitely can feel like, you're not doing well.
Yeah,
But if
for
I
sure.
sleep at least like, for me, even 7 is like the bare minimum. But for me, it's like 7.5 to like 8.5
Yeah.
is gonna be ideal
Yeah,
for
Vic-
like peak performance.
Victor knows, because I'll be pulling into work at like 7 a.m. and I'm like, yo, I only got like 6.5 hours, 6, and I'm like just so
For real,
sluggish, and I'm like,
yeah.
let me get my coffee real quick, and then after that, I'm still like out of it the entire day. So yeah, sleep is very important, and that helps the recovery process too.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I think we should move
I
on
think
to
that's
the.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We're just gonna take
So,
our last
Quick break. We'll see you after it. Welcome back to the podcast. We're going to play Would You Rather. 2 questions here. First one, would you rather be forced to dance or forced to sing along to any song you have heard?
Victor, you already do both.
Yeah, this is why this is a hard one for
So
me.
he's disqualified.
Nah, he has to choose. That means he can't do the other one.
He can't.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Dude.
Oh, we'll add that as a factor then.
You can't do the other one?
Nah, just kidding.
Oh, no.
That'd be funny for you.
Ben, you want to go first?
Okay, so
Well, let's raise. Okay, put your hands down and then raise them if you prefer to dance. In 1, 2, 3.
raise your hand.
Alright, I'm gonna do it then.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna prefer to dance?
I think so.
I'm gonna prefer to dance as well. That was my first thinking, but then I kind of
You can
convinced
still do
myself.
the other one though, right?
No, you can't.
No.
You can't?
No, yeah, you
You're
can.
forced
Yeah.
to dance.
Well, he's forced to dance. That means he can choose to sing.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm gonna choose to dance because I just think like it'd be pretty. Because you can also like, what is dancing? You know, you don't have to be like a crazy dance.
Yeah.
You can be just a little like
Just a
little shimmy. You know?
Just shimmy.
I don't think you should be able to do the other if you do one.
No, I mean
that's not.
no. This is
It's
this
a
is
loop
you're forced to do it.
Forced.
So this is a song plays right now.
And you have to
A
dance. Like
You're at the
you have no
mall,
other choice.
and there's music there.
You're constantly dancing there.
You're just constantly,
Yeah.
but like, see,
Oh
I'm
snap!
just constantly dancing. Versus you guys chose to sing. You're
I
gonna
always
be
have to
in the
sing.
mall, getting your Starbucks, and then you're gonna be like, blah, blah,
Can I
blah,
have-
blah.
But-
and you
but-
can't even drink, bro.
It's
You
a-
can't
no,
even
yeah, you
drink.
can't even.
It's
that's
a
true, you
it's a
can't even-
song you have heard.
Look,
so here's
all
the
I'm
trick.
saying is if I'm forced to sing, you don't never know who might be listening. Recording
So
contract.
that's your choice. That's why.
I'm on the road to $1 million.
What if you don't have a good voice?
Maybe you know.
You're training your voice
What if
the
the
entire
dance
time.
move?
There are some
That's
singers
true,
that don't
dude.
have the best voice and still get recording contracts.
True.
I'll lie. No, I'm just go.
Shit.
I'm just joking. I'm just
You don't
joking.
got a contract.
Okay,
Not yet.
based on your logic, I would agree with you in the dance
Hey,
aspect.
See? But I also thought
But then I like Eric's response too.
my other thinking.
I enjoy singing even if my voice sounds like a dead animal being run over.
My thought was though that I would. Well, one positive
animal
of
wouldn't
the
make a
singing
sound.
was that
Oh, trust me.
it's also just like I feel like if you're singing
Cool.
along, sometimes people will just join in. Versus if you're dancing, it's gonna be just like
Just yeah.
it just seems weird.
I feel like if you dance, it's just gonna. I mean, you're not always gonna be doing this. Even if you're doing this, people are gonna be like, "Man, he's like got
Exactly.
he's got
That's
like
what- that was the
Tourette's
only
or
thing.
he's having a seizure or something."
That was the only thing convincing me not to choose dance. But I think after thinking it really thoroughly, I'd rather just, I could drink or do
But then, like,
whatever.
Say you're like walking and you have headphones on. You have to sing your song.
Yeah, that's so weird.
but no. Okay, put it in this situation. You're at a funeral.
I think either one.
You hear the songs that they play. You're just gonna be like this.
What about when they're
They're gonna be like, he's celebrating that the
I'm gonna
guy's
be-
dead.
I'm gonna
be
be like-
singing it?
Yeah.
The songs
Yeah,
on and you're gonna
yeah.
be like
He's singing Amazing Grace rather than going.
Yeah, they're interrupting the funeral too. I guess I'm not going to the funeral, so but yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying.
Or you could
though.
listen to like classical music only.
I still
then you still have to dance too.
Classical
But if you
music
sing,
on,
you don't
hey.
sing. There's no lyrics. How can you sing?
Well, it has to be to a sing along to a song you've heard. So, it has
So
to be
you
a
guys
sing-along
stick
song.
with singing. You
So you're
and
saying-
I mean,
So jazz that has no lyrics.
I'm gonna scat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like.
I mean, I think both are. It's pretty fair. Like one
Yeah.
isn't terrible. I think both have like disadvantages,
I
but
say just I'm gonna do dance just because of the fun it would be.
And
Like,
you're
just
a
to-
dancer at heart.
I'm not a dancer though. But yo, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the next question: would you rather go 10 years into the past or 10 years
Wait.
into the future?
This is with your.
Wait, past, future.
All right. If you go into the past, you go into your younger self.
So I'm 19 right now.
What?
10 years into the past, I would be 9. So I'm 9 if I go.
So you would turn back to that.
Or
age?
okay. Let's just make it a little bit more funner. You can choose which age from below and above.
Oh,
So like if you're 10 years in the past, you can choose to stay at your current age or go a little younger. Or if you're going 10 years into the future, you could choose your current age or go a little older if you want. That'll add a little more choice. to it.
So I'm gonna go 10 years into the past with the age I am right now, just because I know what's gonna happen in the future.
But it's gonna change.
Not
you
if I don't
change
change.
anything.
Not if I like. Not about my life. No, because so I'm still 19. Right?
Right.
If I go to the past,
Okay.
so it's the year's gonna be 2010.
So we're all going back to 2010, yeah.
So I'm gonna know that in 2012 the world is gonna end, quote unquote, but it's not. You know, it's like knowing those events that's gonna happen. Like I'm gonna know that in 2020 the whole pandemic thing's gonna happen.
Wait, would you be able to see yourself, or you're already? It's just you. Like, are you gonna end up going to?
You
the
just
past
go back
and
into
see
your time
past
slot.
self?
It's a lot of factors. That's why I'm trying to give you like, because obviously, like, if you go 10 years into the past, I'm sure you don't want to be 9 years old,
Yeah.
right?
No.
So that's
It's like Back to
But
the Future.
that's also technology,
Yeah.
man. Technology is going back.
Exactly. So I'm gonna know what to make in 2020.
You're willing to live with 10-year technology from the past?
Yeah. I'll what is that? The Sidekick phone? Is that the one
Not
that's?
even actually. I think already like the iPhone's out of 2010, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Oh
it
yeah.
came
The
out in
iPhone's out.
2007. But you're talking about, like, you're going to be using the iPhone, like, 2.
I'll adjust.
I mean, I didn't even have
I mean,
an iPhone.
even for
2
that
at
technology
point.
during that time was groundbreaking. So
Yeah.
I would
You
go.
could-
I would go into the future.
Alright, and what age?
24.
Your current age?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Mainly
No.
because I feel like I could see what has changed and what's going to be successful in the future. So when I go back to my present self, I know.
Do you go
I know
back
which
or you
stocks.
stay
I know
there?
which stocks to pick.
Yeah.
wait,
Benji?
what do you mean? If you go into the future?
Yeah.
But you're stuck in the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
what do you
stuck
mean?
in the
You can't come
future.
So you'd be
Oh,
stuck in
no.
the past and you don't go back?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you just have to live through it again, basically.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
mind.
not a-
That's why
That'd
you
be
still
interesting.
choose the.
Yeah.
You choose Tesla. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
true.
because that was my factor. I would go 10 years into the past, and I would choose to be 21. Because I think it's, like, a good age
Yeah.
to just kind of... Because
But
you can get...
But you're not 31.
You would be 31, right?
Right,
And
you'd have to be.
during this
You'd
time-
have to be 31
yeah, I'd
right
be
now.
31 now. If we went 10 years in the back, then I'd be 21.
See, I think
He
But
gets
the
to
reason
choose
you
for that-
keep your mind like.
No, yeah, you
I would-
keep your current mind
stupid.
state.
I would definitely go back in the past as my age that I was in 2010, just to relive out, everything.
No, see,
But at the same
going-
time, maybe like change a few things just to see what
I'm
happens.
going into the past.
Especially if you change a few things, then your present becomes a whole different story.
Listen, man,
It's
Yeah,
the butterfly
that's
effect.
true.
Yep.
I'm gonna be successful, bro. You go in the past, you know what companies to invest in,
Mhm.
you make that money, and then you also know what trends are going on YouTube. You're a YouTuber, successful. You know everything, bro. You know when the time switch, when you have to do that diss track.
Just
No.
email Elon Musk being like, "Hey, you want a partner? I trust in what you believe in."
Yeah,
And
and
But see,
then
the thing is
imagine
that you
and
gotta
then-
find yourself. You gotta find yourself how to get yourself into that position to do that kind of stuff, and that's
But
gonna
that's
be
the
tough.
thing. Imagine Bitcoin.
Mm.
Imagine literally, you don't even need a lot of money. You just need to know where to invest it.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
all that money is multiplying. You grab that money, multiply it. So literally, by the age now we're at this current time, 31, and I'm probably like a billionaire.
True. I would say actually then I go back as 18.
But
Yeah,
that's
I'm
you
still
have to be
legal.
28 right now.
I'm still legal, but then at least I'll be 28. So I'm not 31, I'm 28. I'm still young. I'm still pretty young. Like 31 is still young, but like 28 is just younger.
my
so-
thing with that is I feel like from 18 to 21, you might have a little difficulty.
Yeah, you're stuck.
What do you mean?
Who's gonna hire an 18-year-old for certain jobs?
You don't have to. You
Yeah,
don't have to do it for a job. You could trade.
You could just like go for like McDonald's
that
and
money
then
and
while
come
you're
first.
making that money
You
at
could
like
just- you could
that
at
fast
18
food
you could do
place.
stocks.
Yeah.
By 21, you can
and
do
then
stocks,
From there, you just continue to.
and you'll have 4 more years of life in you / wisdom / experience.
yeah.
So we all chose the past, right?
Yeah.
One thing that I would want to go to the future for is because I would hate to live with that 10-year-old technology. Like, that's the only thing. But I think because you can make so much money, it's worth it to, like, sacrifice it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll
For
be
sure.
tough. I'm not gonna lie. But technically, you could, like,
But
you'll
it's-
know what companies maybe you help them, like, push them to, like, start investing on that. But yeah.
For me, I think it's just cool to go back to like see all the old stuff again.
Imagine, though, no more new music, Victor.
Oh, because you already know all of the songs
You would
that are
never
coming
hear a new
out.
song.
for 10 years.
Not necessarily though, because
There are songs that you haven't heard.
I haven't heard of yet. Or I
Still,
haven't,
But
you-
the popular songs.
yeah,
Top 100 songs.
that's okay. I think because
Yeah,
No, but Victor, you as a musician, though, you could hop on.
exactly.
You could make
I
that
could
music.
make exactly, bro.
But you don't know. That's the thing. That's the problem with. I see that I don't choose the path because you have to know how exactly that certain beat or that thing was produced.
Not really.
Yeah.
I feel like you could use the general idea.
I
Use
could
the-
find producers.
just
but
hum the
and then
harmony.
start-
But see, that's the thing
exactly,
is that even if you have that beat, you have to find the right words to say, the right location. There's just so many pieces to
I have
it.
10 years, bro.
Dang.
Unless the person finds it first. So even if
I
you
just have to make
like
sure
for
I
example,
figure
if
it
you
out
go
before
if you
it
go back with the
actually
knowledge of
happens.
Hotline Bling, but at the same time the person starts thinking and then you miss your opportunity to be that producer that makes Hotline Bling, and then the actual producer makes it. You just lost yourself an opportunity.
Look,
That's
I'll
the
just start SoundCloud rap back, okay? And then I'll just, yeah.
You could start OnlyFans. You could start Patreon.
You could make Flappy Bird.
Oh snap!
Right?
You could
Wasn't
invent
that
Fortnite,
TikTok.
Yeah, you can I'll just
TikTok,
invent all
oh
the
my.
TikTok dances.
but wasn't Vine back like?
Yeah.
You would compete
Vine
with
was-
Vine.
Oh yeah, Vine. Or YouTube, even just put on YouTube.
But yeah, it's interesting.
You invest in Twitch. Esports.
Justin TV.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Take
Yeah.
MLS where it should be.
good
Bro.
luck. One thing though, check it out next week. We have a special guest coming on, Samuel Romero, me and Ben's other brother. It'll be a special podcast on him because he's having a life-changing moment that's going to be happening soon. So watch out for it.
And we're out of here.